Developer Journal number 1. I'm John Bulkey, the founder of Jab Creations. And in this first episode, I'm going to do just a basic introduction for Jab Creations. I'll have some timestamps here on YouTube. I'm going to talk about the past 2 years and what I've been working on, working towards. Satanic Cops. Okay, yeah, if you're running a business, we'll get to that. Finishing up mail filters in the future. So I'm going to be looking at my notes here so that way I can stay on task. So Jab Creations. Jab Creations is a web platform. It is a CMS and a CRM. So CMS is just the public facing stuff like your blogs, your forums, shopping carts, custom pages, so on and so forth. CRM is the internal business management stuff. So like an example, email, tasks, sales, that sort of thing, billing and accounting. So now with Job Creations, I work with small businesses that are data driven. Now, what does that mean? So let's define small business, shall we? First off, small businesses I defined as 500,000 in revenue and have 3 or more employees. That means they're actually serious. Um, so yes, I'm an independent contractor, but that's not who I work with. So now when I say data driven, now data driven means that the business is organized and they're paying attention. So give you an example. I have tons of logs and statistics available that allow the business owners that I work with and their employees to look at what's going on the website and say, okay, hey, we didn't believe that this service that we provided was popular, but it's getting half of the entry, half the people coming to the website are going to that page to start with. So maybe they should start, focusing on that and promoting that more. Because if that's what people want, that's what people are going to invest in. So it's just a very simple example of what data-driven means. So another thing is Jab Creations is an all-in-one web platform. So it's not like a lot of those overly specialized services. Yes, there's a lot of micro specializations for Jab Creations, but what people and businesses need the most, or they need all-in-one one-stop shop where they can have their task management and do their sales and manage your emails. You don't want to go to like 4, 5, 6 different tabs. You want to have one tab that you can easily switch between your various things that you need to do and just have things simplified. So now an example of what Jab Creations can do to help businesses is now I don't do sales and marketing, okay, but it does enhance sales and marketing. So an example, a lot of businesses that I work with, they got stuck with WordPress. They had someone who knew how to get the sale, but they didn't know how to build a website, so they built it using WordPress. WordPress, if you want to have a personal website, that's fine. But if you're trying to run a business, WordPress doesn't tell you anything about what's going on the website. So, and WordPress is not optimized. So after about 6 to 8 weeks after we launched the website, so we spent a few weeks building the website. They're happy with where it's at. We launched it, let's say, January 1st. And then about 6 to 8 weeks after that, Google and the other search was like, hey, this is a lot better. It's organized, it's a lot faster, the performance, whatnot. So basically doubles and triples website traffic with verification. Because there's a lot of talk out there, and there's a lot of people who lie. But you know how you can cut through lies? When you have verification, when you have statistics. So an example, very simple. There's 3 things that go to your website: human beings, search engines, and what I call rejects. I'll talk about rejects some other time, but scammers, spammers, and all that other nonsense. So Jab Creations provides actual raw hard numbers, uh, and another kind of context that I'll throw in here is you don't need a million hits. I've got clients where they get literally only 1 to 6 verified human beings a day, and they have all the business that they want. So anyway, what's next? So there's no obnoxious features. So an example, I had to figure out how to tell Zoom, because I'm recording here in Zoom with OBS, how to stop having that voiceover saying recording in progress. I don't waste time adding stuff, because if it's annoying me, it's definitely going to annoy you. It's going to annoy other business owners. So why would we want that? I'm just not going to waste the time with it. We get one life to live, and we either do it, we live life the right way, or we don't. So why waste time on things that people hate? So, so features that people do want. So give you a quick example, contact attachment. So contact module is a dedicated module for handling, because when you're talking with your customers, there's a lot that's involved with that communication. And so when I talk with my customers, my clients, they say, "Hey, I need pictures. You know your business. You've got the screenshots. You've got the pictures. You're the one on site. You're the one, So send me those pictures." And they'll send me an email like, "Hey, we can't send you an email because it's too big because of all the attachments." I says, "Okay, go to my contact page. Here's either the link or the 4-digit pin, so that way not just anyone can upload attachments." And now it's 200 megabytes per attachment, which is a lot larger than what you get with, it's the total size combined of that email. So just an example of something that I've done that just makes people's lives that much easier. So the past 2 years, what have I been working on? So um, every business has two types of logistics they got to focus on: the external logistics, which is sales and marketing, and the internal logistics. Now, the internal logistics, that includes your billing and your accounting, your task management, your delegation, making sure that everything's running smooth. So I will give you a perfect example of what happens when you don't have good internal task management and your logistics. I have a friend who went to the doctor, and the doctor said, we need to get a sample of your bone marrow. Now, bone marrow is the part that's inside your bone. Nothing deeper than bone marrow in your body. And they went to the doctor, and the doctor drilled into the wrong bone. I don't know about you, but that screams lawsuit. That screams you're getting shut down, because I mean, you can only imagine if that's a common occurrence, what else is going on there, because they're not organized. So, and any business person can tell you it costs a lot more money to acquire new clients than it does to just maintain those existing business relationships. So if you don't have the internal business logistics ironed out, you're wasting tons of money that you could otherwise, if you're organized, now guess what? Hey, you're maintaining those business relationships. So I've been working on sales, task, and mail modules. Modules are major components. They're part and integrated into my platform, but they're individual modules. So unlike an example like WordPress, if you like, oh, I want a form on WordPress, it's not very it's kind of like it's very blobulous. It's very um, simple. It's not very well defined, whereas my modules are very clearly defined. The forms are formed. Sales very clearly focused on sales. Task management is very focused on tasks and organized on it with boards and lists and tasks and whatnot and attachments and so on and so forth. And I also focus on my internal accounting and billing. So, um, so what I've been doing is just making sure that I've got my internal logistics just really ironed out, working nice and smooth. So when I'm working with my clients, I'm focused on what they need, not focused on battling bugs or, hey, I need another, week or a few days work on this. No, this stuff is tried and tested and true. It works for me. And it's available for my clients. So, Satanic Cops. Now, we here on Earth, evil has a lot of power because people have not been fighting evil effectively. And people are like, oh, you should talk about that stuff. No, if you don't, the last thing evil wants is for people to point it out, because evil wants to get away. Oh, hey, hey. And a good example of propaganda is an eye in an eye and the whole world is blind? No. If someone's going around poking eyeballs, you take them out permanently. Why? Because there's no more victims. And if someone is going around and committing evil, all right. So I'm not going to go into how I know about 24-hour criminal surveillance by satanic cops that have made it very clear they're satanic, and they have surrounded themselves around in my life and my business. And it's all communism, Marxism. And just to talk two things real quick about that. What's Marxism? Well, I'm a business owner, so I want to know. Give me a book, and no disrespect, but what's the 10 most important sentences in this book? Okay. Well, I don't need even one sentence for the Communist Manifesto of Karl Marx, the abolishment of private property. Who doesn't own private property? Slaves. Okay. And what's the other thing that they want? They want to control the means of production. So here I am, a productive member of society, helping businesses. I'm helping people get organized. I'm helping them clean up the slack. Go from they're dumping money into the website to they're getting money from the website because they're organized, right? So I've had to deal with that, and I am going to always call out the satanic cops, specifically for the Florida Sheriff's Association criminal organization based somewhere up in Tallahassee. And so, yeah, so if you are being victimized, and by the way, victimize is not the same thing as having a victim mentality. Okay. So if you're being victimized, talk, spread that. Do not let them suppress you. Do not let them suppress your freedom of speech. Say it out. And for the people who will criticize you, like what? Did you choose to be to be attacked by people? No. All right. That's an example. That's called social proofing. So an example, if you want to sell snake oil and someone's saying something legit, they'll get someone to come out and they'll say, and they'll like call you out, say, "Oh, you're not, you're being attacked. It means you're evil." And then they'll have another person go over and social proof. It's like, yeah, you got to ignore that. So I don't work with dumb people who don't know how to say that's crime. We should be fighting that. Because if you side with criminals, I don't want your business. All right. I want to talk with people who call out criminals, who are out there doing good things, who are out there helping the community. That's what we should be doing. So, anyway, I don't want to make that a whole bit, but I'm here to help people. And I'm going to call out evil when I see evil. And I'm going to, make it clear. Here's what you need to do. This is what you do. And if you are under attack by evil, you have my support. And I want you to be, I want good people to be successful. I want people who are neutral to find their way, and I want evil to get stuck in traffic. All right. So last two parts. What I've been working on, I've been finishing up mail filters. So when you're a business person and you're working on your business, there's a lot of this is very it's like a walk on a tightrope, and you're going to figure out what do I really need, what do I not need, and how do I finish up and be effective at getting done what I need to do so that way I can focus on my clients, my customers, the people that I'm helping. And what that is I've been working on mail filters because I've had email as a very big topic for me, and I've been working on my own mail module. It's one of my largest, if not largest, module. That's not the control panel itself, and I have to have my internal mechanisms to be able to say, hey, this email is a spam. This email, it's legit. Don't put this in my spam folder, so on and so forth. So I've been working on creating mail filters, and something that I don't get a lot of spam, but I do get some spam. So I got to cut a little corner. Say, hey, I'm not going to work on another whole week just to take. Hey, I've got to have this message and move it to the spam folder. So all I'm going to do is just mark the messages. I'm going to have it. So if it's spam, if it's blacklisted, it's going to be, the subject's going to be marked as read. Okay. So I just check those 2 or 3 messages and I hit spam, done. And if I get something that's whitelisted, the sender will have a green text. So like, Sally Highworth, boom, that'll be Sally Highworth in green. And then I can always, add that functionality to move those messages later on. But my mail module lets me have unlimited mail providers and unlimited, mail accounts. So that takes a lot of logistics and handling. So that's what I've been finishing up, and I have like half a day to a day to get that done between today, Sunday, and tomorrow's Monday. So today is Sunday, July 6th. Happy birthday back on July 2nd to to the United States of America. People celebrate it on the 4th because we didn't have transportation and instantaneous communication. So people had to ride up and down the American East Coast to get the word out about that. So the future is small business. That is the next step for Jab Creations. I am based in Sarasota, Florida, not by choice. And don't get wrong, there's a lot of good people in Florida, but in Sarasota specifically, it is independent contractor hell, and that is not good for serious business. And so I've been learning how to find people who actually know those small businesses and talk with them and get around kind of like a lot of the networking groups I went to. And again, not to be negative, but when you have satanic cops, literally apparently spending millions of dollars to surround and try to control my business and my life, I'm negating that. And by the way, the Satanic Cops, they're controlled by Freemasons. So no Freemasons. I have no interest in talking with them because they're the ones who control the Satanic Cops. So people are controlling evil and bring that into my life. You don't get me. Good people get me. And those good people are writing businesses and contributing to our society and allowing their employees to put food on the table for their families. And that's what I want to support. I don't want to support all this, if you get into all the negative and evil stuff, it's out there and it's real. And we have to make it clear what it is and and give them those shadows to hide in. That's what if people choose to do evil, fine. We're going to choose to expose it while we do good and while we contribute to society and help people, good people, decent people live their lives and help them accomplish their goals. So there's so much I could cover in this, but I wanted to get to just keep it nice and short. This is developer video number one. I'm John, the developer and solo founder of Jab Creations. Thank you very much for watching.